I was holding a cake knife in one hand and a glass of lukewarm apple cider in the other when she said it. No one dropped their forks. No one gasped. Nobody even looked up. It was like I didn't exist. I stood there in front of the dessert table, next to a sad tray of store-bought cupcakes with fluorescent frosting, and stared at my wife, who had just screamed across a crowded family dinner. "Don't touch me. You look ridiculous." The ridiculous part, I assume, referred to my sweater. It was this oversized knit monstrosity with a cartoon turkey on it. Her mom had given it to me 2 hours earlier as a joke, and everyone insisted I put it on. So I did. I laughed. I smiled. I tried. God help me, I tried to play along. And she screamed at me. In front of her parents. In front of my niece, who was 7 and wearing a tiara. In front of her cousin Joey, who once lit his own eyebrows on fire at a 4th of July party and still somehow gets more respect than I do. I set the knife down very carefully. Not because I was angry, I was humiliated. The kind of humiliation that burns behind your ears and makes your vision blur a little. I walked out the back door without saying a word. Didn't even take my coat. Just wandered into the November cold and sat on a patio chair that was still wet from rain. That was 2 hours ago. I'm still out here, writing this on my phone. My fingers are numb, and there's condensation on the screen, but I need to get this out. Because I can't scream. I can't cry. I can't even go back inside. You might think this was just a one-off. A holiday meltdown. People get stressed. Families are weird. But this wasn't that. This was something else. Because 3 nights ago, I found a voice memo on her phone. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for the grocery list she dictated to Siri. But instead, I found a 41-second recording labeled Tuesday, 11 p.m. And I made the mistake of listening to it. What I heard, I haven't told anyone. I haven't even said it out loud. But I will. Just not yet. Because if I'm going to tell this story, I need to start with the lie that broke everything. Not the scream, not the dinner, not the turkey sweater. The lie she told me last month, when she said she was flying to Houston for work. Spoiler, she never went to Houston. I didn't open the voice memo right away. I wish I could say I was strong, or that I respected her privacy, but that's not it. I stared at it for almost 15 minutes, thumb hovering over the screen, while she was in the shower. The sound of the water hitting the tile made me feel like I had a countdown. Every second was a warning bell. Deep down, I think I already knew something was wrong. The title, Tuesday 11 p.m., felt cold. Mechanical. She usually labeled things with emojis or little inside jokes. But this one, it looked sterile. I pressed play. At first, it was just silence. A faint buzzing, like it was recorded in a car. Then a breath, definitely hers. Then his voice. Low, unfamiliar. I couldn't make out what he said, but she laughed in response. That laugh. That soft, breathy version of her laugh that I hadn't heard in months. The one she used to make me feel special. The one that used to be mine. Then, just before the memo ended, she whispered, "Next time, don't leave scratches. Wallace notices everything." Then it stopped. I sat there, phone trembling in my hand, and replayed the last line maybe 6 times. Every version sounded worse than the last. I couldn't decide what hurt more, the way she said his name like a joke, or the fact that she knew I'd notice. That she counted on me noticing, as if it was all part of the thrill. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Not then. Instead, I did something pathetic. I got up, went to the kitchen, and scrubbed the counters for 2 hours. Like if I cleaned hard enough, I could wipe the sound out of my ears. The next morning, I asked her how Houston was. She said it rained the whole time, and her hotel smelled like mildew. I asked if she brought me anything. She said she forgot. I asked what airline she flew. She blinked, just a flicker, and said Delta. She hates Delta. Later that night, I checked her Google location history. Houston wasn't even listed. But you know what was? Ann Arbor. 3 hours away. No flights. Just a straight drive through the dark. She had been there for 2 days, right next to a Red Roof Inn and a golf course. No conference center. No colleagues. Nothing but suburban chain restaurants and a cluster of motels. I looked up every single business on that street. One by one. It was the 10th result that broke me. A 24-hour gym called FlexForge Athletics. I clicked on it, not expecting anything. But there, front and center on their Instagram feed, was a short video from the week before. A man, shirtless, sweaty, doing deadlifts. He had a sleeve tattoo, long black hair pulled into a bun, and a caption that read, Back from Michigan. Flexed biceps missed the squad, but made it worth its smirking face. I zoomed in on the mirror behind him. You know what I saw? Her purse. Bright yellow, leather, with a silver clasp. The same one she told me she lost at the airport last year. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was heartbroken. Not yet. That would come later. I didn't sleep because I realized something else, something worse. She didn't just cheat. She lied to him, too. Which meant I wasn't dealing with someone who made a mistake. I was living with someone who was playing both sides of the board. The worst part wasn't the voice memo, or the purse in the gym mirror. It was what came after. The silence. After I connected the dots and knew without a doubt that Nora had been in Ann Arbor with that man, I expected something to happen. Some instinct in me thought the universe would react. Maybe she'd confess. Maybe I'd slip up and say something. Maybe the guilt would rot its way out of her mouth in the middle of the night. But no. She just made pancakes the next morning. Told me we were out of almond milk. Asked if I could take the car in for an oil change. Like everything was fine. Like nothing had happened. She even kissed me on the cheek before leaving for work, and I stood there in the kitchen like a cardboard cutout of a husband, trying not to vomit. I didn't know what to do. I'm not the kind of person who acts fast. I'm not brave. I'm the guy who rewrites emails 6 times before hitting send. So instead of confronting her, I started taking notes. Literally. I created a hidden folder in my phone called Weather Reports and wrote everything down. Dates, times, details. I screenshotted her locations, saved photos, tracked her stories, every small crack in the facade. And then something strange happened. 3 days after the dinner explosion, I got a message. Not a text, a DM on Instagram from a burner account. No profile picture. No posts. Just one message. She's not who you think she is. That was it. I stared at it for a long time, heart pounding like I'd just stolen something. I wrote back. Who are you? No reply. I refreshed the page a few times. Still nothing. Then I checked the account again, and it was gone. Deleted. For a moment, I told myself it was spam. A bot. A random troll. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. Someone out there knew something. Maybe more than I did. That night, Nora went to yoga. Said her friend Allison was picking her up, and they might grab smoothies after. I stood by the window for 40 minutes, waiting for a car to pull up. No one ever did. She walked down the street and turned the corner alone. She turned the corner like she'd done it 100 times. I didn't follow her right away. I just stood at the window, hands shaking, watching the empty street where no Allison ever arrived. Part of me still wanted to believe I misunderstood, that she was heading to a rideshare pickup or that her friend had parked around the block. But 20 minutes later, when she still hadn't come back and I saw no sign of anyone, I grabbed my coat and keys. I didn't want to be the guy who follows his wife. I didn't want to become that version of myself, the paranoid, desperate type. But I was already there, wasn't I? A man scrolling through location data like it's scripture, saving screenshots like breadcrumbs through a forest of lies. I drove down the street with the headlights off. Dumb, I know, but I was panicking. I figured if I kept some distance, maybe I'd see her turn somewhere. Maybe I could figure out where she was actually going. The corner she disappeared around led into a neighborhood with older houses, big trees, and weird angles. Not a single yoga studio in sight. I parked and waited. 10 minutes. 15. Then I saw her. She came walking back out of a driveway, alone, but slower this time. She had changed clothes, her yoga mat gone, her hair pulled down now, not in the usual ponytail. She looked almost relaxed. Like she had just finished a glass of wine, not a workout. Then she stopped, stood on the sidewalk, and looked at her phone for a second before walking back the way she came. I couldn't breathe. I didn't move until she was completely out of sight. Then I drove up to the house. It was number 48. Small place, broken porch light, one car in the driveway, windows dark. No business sign. No yoga mats. Just a normal house. I wrote the number down. I didn't get out. I just sat there and memorized every inch of it. Something about it felt wrong. Not in an obvious way. No sounds. No lights. No reason to panic. Just wrong. Later that night, I asked her how yoga was. She said it was sweaty and that she was too tired to talk. Then she went straight to bed. That's when I searched public records. It took about 30 minutes to find the address. Turns out the house is owned by a man named Eli Morgan, 38, single, no spouse on file. No social media presence, nothing recent. But here's the strange part. He used to work with Nora. For years ago. I remember her mentioning him once, maybe twice. Just some guy in the IT department who left suddenly. Now she's sneaking into his house under fake names and deleted calendar events. But that's still not the worst part. Because 2 nights later, I got another message from the burner account. This time, it wasn't a warning. It was a photo. Her. In that house. In the same sweater she told me she donated last winter. And she wasn't alone. The photo wasn't blurry. That's what hit me first. It wasn't some grainy, zoomed-in shot taken from a distance. It was clear. Intentional. Almost like it was taken from inside the house. Nora was standing in the kitchen, laughing, holding a wine glass in one hand and twirling her hair with the other, something she only did when she was flirting. She was wearing the green cable knit sweater she told me she donated to Goodwill last December. Her face looked relaxed in a way I hadn't seen in months. Next to her, with his back half turned to the camera, was a man. Broad shoulders, messy black hair, no shirt. Just jeans and a tattoo snaking down his left arm. His hand was resting on the counter, close to hers. Too close. But here's the detail that made my stomach flip. There was a picture frame in the background. Something small, easy to miss. I zoomed in. It was me. A photo of me, from our wedding day, the one Nora keeps on her desk in the home office. Why would that be there? Why would she bring a framed photo of us to his house? I stared at it for maybe 5 minutes straight, completely still. Then I checked the account again, the burner that sent it. Still deleted. No way to trace it. No replies. Just that one photo, dropped like a grenade and then gone. I should have confronted her. I should have walked upstairs and demanded the truth. But I didn't. Instead, I did what I always do. I waited. I spiraled. I convinced myself there had to be an explanation. But deep down, I already knew. I wasn't married to the person I thought I was. And now someone else out there knew it too. I spent most of the next day staring at that photo like it was a puzzle I could solve if I just looked long enough. I even printed it out on regular printer paper and kept folding and unfolding it, like somehow the texture might give me clues the pixels couldn't. It's insane, I know, but there was something about that framed picture of me, in his kitchen, that felt deliberate, like it wasn't just weird, it was targeted. I kept thinking, why would she bring it? Did he ask for it? Did she do it as some twisted joke? Or worse, was it some kind of ritual? A trophy? I couldn't ask her. Not yet. That night, she came home late again. Claimed there'd been a weird gas leak at work, and they had to evacuate the building. Then she told me she was too tired to talk, and went straight upstairs. I just nodded and said nothing, but my mind was racing. She smelled like cinnamon gum and expensive cologne, neither of which she ever used around me. Instead of following her, I opened my laptop and went back to digging. I couldn't stop thinking about the guy in the photo. Eli Morgan. The name from the property records. The guy who used to work with her. I searched his name again, went deeper this time. Forums, cached blogs, LinkedIn comments, anything. And I found something. It wasn't much, just an old post from an obscure tech forum archived back in 2019. A user named EM_84 asking for advice about whistleblower protections in private corporations. He mentioned harassment, data theft, and toxic executive culture. The company name? The same one Nora used to work for before she left to freelance. That's when it hit me. He didn't leave. She did. And maybe not voluntarily. I saved the link, just in case. But right as I was closing the tab, I got an email. No subject. No sender. Just a zip file attachment. For a solid 10 minutes, I stared at it. My hands were actually sweating. I've never had that happen before from an email. Against every rational instinct I had, I opened it on an old laptop I hadn't used in years, no connection to anything important. Inside the zip file were 3 audio recordings. No labels, just timestamps. I clicked on the first one. It was Nora's voice. She was crying, talking to someone. I couldn't hear them, but her words were clear. "I'm scared he's going to find out," she said. "Wallace isn't dumb. He watches everything now. I can't keep lying." Then silence. Then static. The second recording was worse. It was her again, but angry this time. Whisper shouting, "You don't get to control this. I said I'd handle it, Eli. Don't send things to my house again. If he sees something, this all blows up." Again, the clip cut off suddenly. By the third one, I was shaking, literally gripping the sides of the desk like I was trying not to fall off the earth. This one was different. There was no speaking, just breathing. 2 people. One was her. The other. I couldn't tell. Then, right before the end, a voice whispered something. I played it back at full volume 3 times before I caught it. It wasn't her voice. It was a man's voice. And he said, he knows. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I just kept playing the audio over and over, especially that last part. The man's voice. He knows. He said it like a warning. Or a threat. I couldn't tell. But I was done pretending this was just an affair. This wasn't two people sneaking around. This was something else. There were too many layers, too many moving parts. The next morning, I skipped work and drove back to the house, Eli Morgan's place. I didn't knock. I didn't go near it. I just parked down the block and watched. For over an hour, nothing happened. No one came or went. But then, at exactly 9:42 a.m., I got a text. Unknown number. Stop watching him. You're not ready. I froze. Looked around. No cars. No people. Just frost on the windows and the hum of my engine. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My fingers wouldn't move. A full minute passed before another message came in. Meet me tonight. 11:30. Parking garage on East 5th. Top floor. No name. No signature. Just that. I sat there for a long time, debating whether to even show up. But the way things were going, I knew if I didn't, I'd never get answers. I'd stay stuck in this loop of guessing and spying and slowly losing my mind. So I went. And at 11:29 p.m., I pulled onto the top floor of the parking structure. The place was empty, except for one person, standing at the edge, facing the city. It wasn't Eli, and it wasn't Nora. It was someone I never expected to see again. At first, I didn't recognize her. The woman standing at the edge of the garage wore a dark coat, hood up, back turned. I stepped out of the car slowly, not sure if I was walking into something dangerous or stupid or both. She turned around. It was Allison, Nora's friend. The one who was always picking her up for yoga. The one I'd barely spoken to in the last 6 years. Allison, I asked, my voice already cracking. What the hell is going on? She took off the hood, stepped closer, and handed me something. A flash drive. No small talk. No emotion. I'm sorry I didn't come to you sooner, she said. I was trying to protect you. But she's been lying for a long time, Wallace. To both of us. I didn't say anything. I just stared. She didn't go to Houston, she continued. She went to meet Eli because she needed leverage. There was a lawsuit years ago, buried by the company. Nora helped make it disappear. I was there. I saw it all. She's been hiding it ever since. The cheating? That's real, yes. But it's the tip of something a lot uglier. I asked her what was on the drive. She said everything. Emails, audio, documents, even copies of the voice memos. She tried to make Eli the villain, Allison said. But he's not the one who destroyed people's careers. She was. And now she's afraid. Because he's not staying quiet anymore. It took me a few days to process everything. I listened. I read. I sat in my car for hours with the engine off, just breathing and trying not to implode. And slowly, the picture started to shift. This wasn't just infidelity. It was corruption, manipulation, and I had been used as part of it. A piece in a carefully controlled story she told to cover her tracks. But here's the thing. The moment I saw it clearly, I felt free. I didn't confront Nora. I didn't scream. I didn't even ask her why. Instead, I packed a bag, called a lawyer, left a note on the table that said nothing more than, I know. Please don't contact me. Then I left. It's been 7 months now. I moved 2 towns over. I work remotely. I walk my dog every morning. I drink real coffee instead of the cheap instant garbage I used to settle for. I sleep again. Allison and I talk sometimes. Not in a romantic way. Just 2 people who survived the same storm. And every now and then, I catch myself smiling for no reason. A real smile. Not the kind you fake at family dinners. So yes, she screamed at me. She humiliated me. She broke me. But she didn't win. I did. And that, somehow, feels enough.